Hey guys, just want to give a shout out to my friend Chris. She just started a new plant channel, and I would love it if you guys would go over and give her channel a look. She's got a lot of really beautiful plants, and she's very knowledgeable. She's been growing plants for a very long time, many years. So if you guys would please go over and check her out, I will put the name of her channel across this little blurb, and it's Chris's Garden Pyle. I will put it up in my description. So you guys have a great day, and please go support her plant channel. Bye guys. Thanks. Hey guys, how you doing today? I have a couple of ground orchids that I need to repot. This one here is a Kryptonite Parkside orchid. It's a Pyle calanthe, whatever, however you say it. And this one over here, this one's my Kryptonite Parkside. And this is my Zygopetalum Dragon Kitten. They are both ground orchids, which means, or terrestrial, which means they grow in the ground. So I want to unpot this. She's got a bunch of new growth, and then she's got some bulbs that are dying back, which is normal. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, I see some new growth coming. I'm glad I'm doing this now in case those are spikes. So I'm going to go ahead and get this side a little bit better. I want to see what her roots are doing. I want to get her out of this terracotta pot and put into plastic. Oh boy, yeah, she needed to be definitely into a new pot. I have not repotted these guys for a couple of years, so they were due. There's some new growth coming off that right there, and it could possibly be a spike. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to get as much soil of the older soil off of this as I can. You see the roots. The roots look really nice. I love the terrestrial orchids. I actually have a few. See, the root system down in here is pretty good. I have spag on the bottom of this. I'm going to take out as much as I can, but I'm not going to fuss with it. I watered it good a couple days ago, so she would come apart. There's some rotten areas. I'm just going to pull those out, get rid of it. I may have to split it in order to get this one out. Unfortunately, yeah, it's going to come out really easy. And then I can pull that dead piece off. This has some spongy crap in it. It's been like that since I bought it. I'm going to separate. There. Now I can get this apart a little bit better. Get some of this spag out of here. I absolutely love the terrestrial orchids. They grow so much easier. I've had this plant for a couple of years, and I don't know, orchids are, some of them can be very touchy. She's bloomed for me several times, but I think that the majority of the problem right now is that she really needed to be repotted. I'm just taking off some of this sheathing, getting her cleaned up. taking away as much of this as I possibly can. I'm not going to worry too much about it. You know, if I don't get everything, I don't get everything. I just want to make sure more than anything is that I'm getting the rotting stuff, the dying bulbs. And that's normal for orchids. They grow new. She's got nice, beautiful, healthy roots on her, so I'm just going to lay her over here for now. Get on with this other one. Looks like I had some sand in here with her too. You can see all the new roots from the new green roots from the new shoot. They shoot up new babies off of the bulbs. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll lay her over here. And this is the one that had the rotten bulb on it, so I'm just going to take a hold of the new part, get a hold of that old one and twist it. Just twist it right off. Get some more of this off. This does have new growth on it, so usually once the bulbs are done, I mean, you could tell they get really dry. But they usually always have new growth coming out of them, so this one looks like it's got really good roots on it too. I'll be happier and feel better when I get her into plastic and out of the terracotta, because I can see now why I was having a hard time keeping her watered. Her root system is just really gorgeous. Now I'm going to try to pull off some of the sheathing, because she has more new growth coming up right there. So that's great. Looks like she's got new growth coming up on all of these bulbs actually. She ought to really take off now. Getting her all cleaned up and repotted into some fresh terrestrial mix for her. There. Just getting out as much of that spag here on the bottom as I can, but I'm not going to take out too much because she likes it. So, alright, I am going to empty this, and then we will get going with planting. Okay, now, for my terrestrial mix, I'm using some cocoa coir and some peat, and then I'm going to be putting a whole bunch of perlite in it, and some of my soil mixture. So I'm just going to mix everything up in this bowl. Hopefully it'll be enough for both of my pots. I'm going to add my perlite. I want a lot of perlite in there. And since I am putting her into plastic, normally I would put a little bit of spag moss in with my terrestrial orchids, but since I'm putting her into plastic, I'm not doing that. Because of course the plastic is going to retain a whole lot of moisture, kind of taking place of the spag. But I also want to make sure I have a lot of perlite. So I'm going to fill up my pot. Whew. Flopped it in there too quick. I'm going to pack it down just a little bit. Now I'm definitely going to have to make more mix up for the second pot. Okay. Okay. I grabbed some more peat and cocoa coir. Now I need a few of my stakes and some of my twist ties. And I already got way too much soil in here, like a dum-dum. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fertilize her down here right by the roots. This is my espoma. I like to use this on my ground orchids. So what I'm going to do is put her down in here. Now you want to keep these bulbs above soil, or they'll rot. I need just a little more soil up under here. Geez, I'm almost wondering if I should get a bigger pot, a deeper pot. These roots are crazy big, but orchids like to stay compact. They really do. So now what I'm going to do before I get too much longer is I am going to tie my stake down. There, my stake is hitting the bottom of the pot. And I'm going to tie her around her pseudobulb down here. Oh, that's not going to work. I'll do it right there, because that's going to help me level her out. And then I want to do the same to this one. And I'll tie her back. You don't want to make it too tight, because you don't want to kill off your growth. Just very lightly, enough to hold everything in place. And then I'm just going to kind of wiggle her, add some more of my soil mixture. I don't know, I think that pot's going to be just about right. Especially since they like to be a little root bound. I'm going to get that down in there, and then I'm going to lift her up as I go. Oh, I'm getting into fresh. I put more peat and cocoa coir in here. I need to get my soil. Add some more. Oh. This is just my regular soil mixture that I'm adding to the cocoa coir and peat mix. And some more perlite. Boy, oh boy, I went crazy getting too much in there, huh? That's how I always do, and that's why I always end up making a mess. kind of packing in, keeping those pseudobulbs above. Where I want them, above your soil line. Tapping your pot to get the air pockets out and get the soil mixed down in there good. And then I'll just keep pulling her up slowly, kind of giving her a wiggle. Keeping those pseudobulbs above. There, I think I got it in there pretty good. And even if your pseudobulbs, because some of them are kind of crooked compared to the others, you know, they don't all grow in a little straight line. But your roots will, you see in this one, the roots will go right down into the soil. She's the next one I'm going to repot. I pulled her out of the pot before I started my video just to see if she needed to be repotted, and yeah, she did. Alright, I think that is looking pretty good. I'm going to water her. And see where my soil line, if my soil line drops, which I'm sure it will. She's got nice food in there. All those little new growths that are coming up, they're going to get a nice feed. It feels pretty heavy. It looks like my soil line's staying pretty good, so alright, cool. Okay, well that was, still want to wait till I see some water. Still don't see water coming out of the bottom. This should about do it. There it comes. Now I want to put my tags back in before I forget them. I hope this plant does better for me in the, there, I got water coming out. I'm going to go ahead and just let her sit in that water for a little bit until I'm done. Let that soil soak up. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up really good before once again, this was perlite, regular soil mix, cocoa coir, and peat. But if you only have one or the other of the peat or the cocoa coir, or even if you just only have soil, put a lot of perlite in it. It'll be fine. You don't got to stress it. Okay, now this one, this was my Zygopetalum dragon kitten, and I had her in this plastic orchid pot. I had like a beads at the bottom of it, and I'm again going to take off the soil because she has been in here for a while, a couple years, and you can see she does also have a really nice root system on her. Like I said, I just watered her a couple of days ago, so and I'm going to be putting her into this pot because she's a little smaller of a root system. I wish I had a smaller plastic pot, but I don't. I don't want to put her back into. Stand up. Here, lean up against your sister. I gotta get rid of this. Okay. Oops. Now I'm just gonna do same with her. I'm just gonna kind of peel off some of this dry sheathing, get rid of it. That way we don't have bug issues or any rotting going on. Now this orchid did good for me. I think I've had her about 4 years. She did really good for me in the beginning. She bloomed, well, she was actually in bloom when I first got her. And then she bloomed again for me the following year. And she bloomed last year. But this year, usually these bloom in winter. But she did not bloom for me this year, so it could be that because she needed to be repotted. I don't know. She needs to go up just a little higher. And then I am also giving her some fertilizer. Mix it in. Putting lots of perlite in there. And I'm going to stick her stake all the way down to the bottom of the pot. Because she, again, now she's growing this way, so I'm going to put her, because she's going this way, is her growth pattern. So I'm going to put her up against the pot on this side as far as I can, because she'll keep growing that way. Kind of like a philodendron. They take off and go one way, and that's the way that you should try to always, I'm going to scoot her down just a little bit. Yeah, that's probably too far. Get some more soil over here. And I'm going to do another layer of perlite. Oh man, I just broke her new growth off. Dang it! I knew I was going to, because it was really wobbly. I probably cracked it and broke it when I was moving her off of her plant stand. Ugh, well, she still has this new growth, so I'm not worried about it. Even though maybe I probably should be, but I'm not. Now I'm just going to pack this down a little bit. You can see that looks pretty good. The bulbs are all sitting right on top of the soil. And then I'm just going to put a little more perlite around here, because these roots will keep going down into the soil, but I don't want to put it up any higher because of this bulb. So I could wrap spag around that. I actually have a little hunk of it right here because I was propagating some other plants earlier. You could just kind of lay it around so it's not touching the bulb. And I think I'm going to go off to this side right here. And just gently tie this one up. So, alright, I'm going to go ahead and get her watered in. Grab her tray before she starts peeing all over my table. But of course my table is already such a mess that I have been repotting and planting seeds and doing so much that it doesn't even do any good to clean up my table, because as soon as I clean it up I get another bright idea and then I'm off to the races making another mess. So that's draining down really quickly, and that's what you want. Wait until I see some water coming out of the bottom. And yep, I see it coming out of this bottom tray. So I'm just gonna dump that out. So if you've never had orchids before and you're kind of interested in them, but they kind of scare you, get a terrestrial orchid. They're pretty much just like growing a house plant, and they're pretty. My two are not very pretty at the moment, but it is what it is, and they were pretty at one time, but hopefully they'll get back to that. Like I said, I had issues with it being in terracotta. Terracotta does not, I love terracotta, but it just does not work for me in my house or outside. It just dries out so quickly. But I'm going to put her tag back in. So this is the Psychopedalum Dragon Kitten, and this one is the weird name, whatever, Kryptonite Parkside. And hopefully soon we'll see some blooms off of these girls. But alright guys, I'm going to talk to you later. Bye. Peace.